Hello and welcome to 50 Fabulous Knits. My name is Pia. I am a Danish knitter living in Italy, but this week coming to you from Denmark, where I get to enjoy my friends and my family for a few weeks. I am so happy that you have decided to spend some time with me here today, and I really hope that you will enjoy this episode. I have a lot to share. I have some finished objects, obviously some WIPs, and I also have some dream knitting because I went to a yarn festival last weekend. But before we get into all that, I want to announce my new knit along. Fall is just around the corner, at least for us here in the Northern Hemisphere it is. The days are getting shorter, the nights are getting colder, and the leaves are just getting ready to change. So I thought that it would be nice to have an accessory along so that we together could make all the wonderful little accessories that just makes the colder seasons so much more enjoyable. I'm talking about hats and mittens and scarves and shawls and socks and all that kind of stuff. And I will say that if you're in the Southern Hemisphere and you're getting ready for summer, this knit along is also for you, because summer also calls for some accessories. Beach bags, light shawls, little scarves, headbands, all that nice and wonderful little things that just makes every day so much better. So if you want to participate, all you have to do is post a picture of your work on Instagram using the hashtag ACAL2021, AccessoryCal 2021. That way you will be an inspiration to the rest of the 50 Fabulous family, but you will also enter to win a prize, which is still TBD, but I'm sure I'll come up with something lovely for you. I really hope that you want to embark on this accessory journey with me. I love making accessories because typically they're pretty small projects so that you really feel that you get to finish stuff. So I actually already started and I finished stuff when my youngest grandson started daycare recently. They told the parents, yeah, and he will need woolen mittens. And then they were given a knitting pattern for woolen mittens. So they came to me, for which I'm super happy because I love knitting for those little ones. Look how cute they are. Aren't they just wonderful? The colors were not in the pattern. I am heavily inspired by Petite Knits Vesterhavsvandter. I'll link to that pattern in the description box below because that's with these color blocking colors. I love how they look, and I'm gonna make 4, each of them different, so that when he loses one, it's not like the whole pair is lost. They're all gonna be different. That's kind of genius, I think, if I do say so myself. I also finished the little hat for Lucas, and I think I have shown you that before, but now it has a pom-pom, and it will just go beautifully with his family sweater. Just look at that, winter baby. Oh, please, Texas, give us a little bit of winter this year so that he can enjoy his knits. Then I finished, yeah, I do have quite a lot of finished objects, but they're kind of small, right? I also finished this. This is the honey clutch from Petite Knit. Super, super fun project. The bottom of the clutch is made in double knitting. Then you have this It is a kind of a brioche stitch that just makes this honey pattern. And then again, you have up here double knitting and tubular bind offs so that everything looks finished and nice. And I did put in a lining. I'm sort of embarrassed to show it. If I just go like this, then you can't see what a terrible job I did with the lining. But I'm not a sewist. Not at all. But I do love this little clutch, and I actually think I'm gonna need a couple more in different sizes. And this is, as I said, a pattern from Petite Knit. I'm of course gonna link to the pattern in the description box below. I will also stop kicking the table that the camera stands on. Sorry if I made anyone seasick with that. The last accessory that I finished, I made one sock. And actually I made it because I wanted to test this lace pattern here. I don't know how well this comes through on the camera. Not very well, I'm afraid. I was gonna put this in a cowl, but I don't think it's gonna work. So, but I thought since I'm gonna knit it, why not knit a sock? So I hate swatching. I hate just knitting something just to rib it back after. So I thought, gotta put it in a sock, and then I at least get a sock. So of course I'm gonna knit the second sock. I didn't start yet, but I'm gonna. The most interesting thing about this sock is actually the heel. Let me see. This is Inga from Knitting Tradition. Her grandmother taught her how to make this heel. She calls it mors hæl, which means mama's heel. And it's a clever construction. I'm just going to take it off here so you can see it properly. So this is a very, very different heel construction. It's different than anything I've ever seen before. And it looks a little funny on the unblocked sock, but it fits my foot perfectly. It really hugs my heel. So I can really recommend that pattern, and actually that pattern is going to be part of the prize for the knit along. That and also her cabled socks. These, she generously donated those two patterns as a prize for the knit along. So I cannot recommend this heel construction enough. If you haven't tried it, you should really go ahead and try it, especially maybe if your heel is kind of narrow, because usually when I knit a heel flatten gusset, it doesn't fit my heel, but this one really hugs my heel and I'm loving it. And I'll get around to the second sock. Of course I will, because I want this. So as you can see, I am really into all the accessories these days, and that will also show in my WIPs. But before I get into those, I think I'm just going to talk about what I'm wearing today, because this is probably, of all my knits, this is the one that gets the most wear. It is my Texas tee. I made it with the yarn that I bought at the McKinney Knittery in Texas, all local Texas hand dyers. And well, as you can see, it is a really simple t-shirt knit top down with rather deep raglan and a lot of positive ease to it. It is super simple and it really allows the yarn to shine. And I'm going to talk about the yarn later. The only interest there is to this t-shirt is here at the bottom. I have a 2-color ribbing, and then I double stitched the Lone Star right here. yeah, up here and in the neckline, you just have folded over hems just to make it really plain and simple and allow the yarn to do all the talking in this garment. I released the pattern for this yesterday. So it's available now on Ravelry and on my own website. And you can say, who releases a pattern for a t-shirt the same day that she announces a fall knit along? But I actually think I'm gonna use this throughout the winter. Just pop a jacket over it, or a cardigan, or even a long sleeve turtleneck under. I'm really loving this. It is so comfortable. And the yarn is so special. It is knit in a single ply merino, which means that it does pill. But I just deep pill. And it takes 2 minutes. I don't care. This is lovely yarn. It is from Blue Mule Fiber. And it is on their extra fine base. The colorway is called Midnight Texas. It is superwash merino and mulberry silk, and it has just the most amazing drape. It's like, it's a little heavy. It's knit at a very open gauge, which of course really allows the fabric to drape and hang, and it's just, I cannot say enough good things about this yarn. It is absolutely lovely. The golden color that I used for the star and the ribbing is from Chasing Rabbit's Fiber. Also a Texas hand dyer, and this is on her solo base, and the colorway is Bog. Such a beautiful, beautiful yarn. And I used the rest of this to make my Zweig. That's of course in Italy, so I can't even show you that, but I actually got a Zweig just from what was left of one skein after I double stitched the Lone Star and did the ribbing on this one. And I'm back. Sorry, there was someone at the door and I just needed to take care of that. But here I am again. And I have 2 more FOs to show you. I actually finished 2 garments, which sounds way more impressive than it really is, because one of them is this. It's tiny, and I knit all the way up to the separation here, and then for some reason, yeah, it got left behind somehow. But I decided to finish it. It took me a couple of hours, and now it's done and it's ready to be put on Lucas's person as soon as he is here. So yeah, I do have quite a few Lucas knits, but I have more coming. I also finished my sunbed jacket, and I'm gonna post a photo because I forgot it in Italy. I wanted to wear it for the long drive back to Denmark because I thought it would be perfect. It's so soft and it's so light and it's warm, but it's so easy to just take on and off as temperature changes. So yeah, I hung it on the chair in the kitchen thinking, I'm gonna remember that when we go tomorrow morning. And clearly I didn't, but it's beautiful. I'm loving it. And also, as I was knitting, I got some new ideas for the construction. So I'm gonna try to knit a sample, and if I'm right, if all these ideas in my head actually turn out to be useful, then I'm gonna write up a pattern for it, because it is such a wonderful, versatile piece that just goes over everything in my wardrobe. So that is definitely something that is going to happen at some point. I have some WIPs. I don't have a lot actually of active WIPs. I do have my half and half wrap. I don't have it with me because, yeah, I put in a few extra rows, but you can't really tell. It's just huge by now, and yeah, it's growing slowly but steadily. I want to finish it before Rhinebeck weekend. Not that I'm coming to Rhinebeck, unfortunately, but I want to finish it because the cowl that Caddy Jacks made actually said that let's finish by Rhinebeck weekend. So I am gonna finish so that I started with the rest of you and I finish with you also. So, but the things that I have been actively knitting on is, of course, the family sweater for myself, and I do think I have shown this before. I'm knitting it in the Nightshades from Harrisville Design, and I, I almost don't want to try to show it here because it's so difficult to get this yarn on camera to really show its beauty. So maybe if I go back a little, it's a pretty fair representation of this color. I chose the one with a little bit of gray in it, and I do think that you can see that it's a black, but it has these little nips of gray here and there. And as you can see, I finished the yoke with the Estonian braids, and now I'm plucking away at the body. I'm almost ready to start the ribbing. Then I just have to knit the sleeves. There are breeze in it. I just knit them on my Jiaogu mini set so that I can just knit around. Yeah, it's fine. I love working with this yarn. I still love working from this pattern, even though this is my 5th family sweater. I don't need to do Estonian braids again anytime soon. They're so easy to make, but they take a lot of time. Seriously, when you do them on the yoke of the adult sizes, just one round takes me about an hour. You would think that I would have been able to speed up that process, being that I've knit so many of them, but no. But it doesn't matter. It's okay if the knitting takes time. I have plenty of time and I love knitting, so why worry about it? Yeah, but this is gonna be exactly what I wanted. I've tried it on, of course, multiple times. It's gonna be a big, roomy, chunky sweater to just chuck on over a dress or a pair of jeans, and yeah, I'm gonna love this. And I love the yarn. I've never knit with Cormo before. I can only say I'm a fan. This is, I showed it to a knitting friend this weekend, and she was standing there like feeling the skein, and what she said was so accurate. She said, you can really feel that this used to be a sheep. That is the best thing I have heard about the Cormo. So yeah, loving this yarn, and it is not the last time that I have knit with the Harrisville design for sure. I also cast on a shawl, both for my own knit along, for a Danish knit along, where you knit shawls in the month of September, and also because I found some glorious yarn on the yarn festival that I briefly mentioned in the beginning that I went to last Sunday. So let's start with the yarn because that's where it all began. This is some very rustic, lovely lovely yarn. It's called Dansk Østersøuld, and it is made locally, right here, local shapes, spun at a local mill, and it is minimally processed. This is the color that the wool had on the sheep, and it's just so delightful. It is from a woman called By Gunnarsen, and I do know that she does ship internationally, so I am gonna link to this yarn in the description box below, because I cannot recommend this enough. It is so wonderful. Of course, if you're sensitive to wool, you don't want to make a cowl or a hat of it. But it does soften up with washing, and I know this because I washed and blocked part of my shawl just to see what would happen to the wool when I did so. So here you go. Here we have first the part that has been blocked. It looks very see-through. It's not as see-through, but anyway, this is the part that has been blocked, and this is the part that hasn't. Blocking makes quite a difference when you're working with these woolly wools. It's like the wool just blossoms. It fills up, and it just softens, and yeah, it is beautiful. The shawl is going to be very simple, just a big triangular shawl with some garter stitch, lots of garter stitch, and then this spider pattern that I also used for my sunbed jacket. And this is actually being tested as I am knitting the sample, because it is such a simple pattern. So I think that is gonna come out really soon, and I will make it available with a discount for the duration of the accessory cowl, if anyone should want to try this out. It is as it's just gonna grow from here, and then I'm gonna finish it off with a 2-color ribbing, just like on my Texas tee. And the other yarn that I'm gonna add is this one. So I was contemplating doing a white, but I thought it would be a little harsh. I think this is gonna look absolutely beautiful. This is some organic wool, also a non-treated wool that I got in a yarn swap with another Danish podcaster. So yeah, now I cannot keep my hands off it anymore. I have my last WIP here. And yeah. But Pia, that's not one of those 3 sample knits that you committed to doing. And it's definitely not the mittens for Lucas, or the second sock for that matter. Yeah. I got nothing. I really couldn't help it. I needed to cast this on. Isn't it wonderful? I have tried it on, and it just fits me perfectly. It hugs my shoulders, and then it just becomes this super comfy, chunky sweater, and it's not even very warm. I'm knitting in it. I am knitting it in Drops Wish, which is a very thick but not heavy billow yarn. So it's just so comfortable, so soft, so lovely. Yeah, I couldn't help it. I was sitting yesterday morning and just making doodles. And then the doodles turned into this, and this I knit all of this yesterday. I couldn't put it down. So yeah, falling a little behind on all the things that I should be knitting, but this just brings me so much joy. It makes me happy. What can I say? I'm in love with the chunky braids and the way that the increases for the yoke is placed. Yeah, so lovely. Not to toot my own horn, but this was actually it was pure luck, because as I said, I was just doodling and then this grew out of it. So yeah, at some point I'm gonna write up a pattern instead of just the doodles. And then I'm gonna send it out in testing, because this is just lovely, and it's knit on a size 8 needle, which is something very big in US sizes. Yeah, it just flies by and I am loving it. So, but I should say that I need some self-discipline, because I do, but I'm having so much fun. And knitting is about fun, isn't it? I think it is. That was it for my actual knitting. But as I said in the beginning, I also have some dream knitting this week. So I went to a yarn festival last weekend. Fiftyfabulous, it's called, a Danish yarn festival. And this is the first time I have ever been to a yarn festival. I don't know if I even dare to go to Rhinebeck, considering what this kind of small event did to me. I was high on yarn fumes. I really enjoyed myself. I enjoyed getting to meet a lot of those knitty friends that I have made through the podcast and Instagram and other social media. It was so lovely to finally meet these persons face to face and get to really interact with them. And there were so many wonderful viewers of the podcast who came up to me and introduced themselves, and it was a glorious day. And I got yarn. I got this amazing skein from Birk and Bao. I have talked about them before. It's the Danish hand dyers who also made the yarn for, let's see if I can figure it out. My wing shawl, the movie shawl that hangs right there. The pattern for that actually released last week, so you can go and check some real photos of it. They made the fade for that. So of course I had to pay a visit to their booth, and look what I found. Boromir, this color is called, which makes perfect sense to me. And yeah, it is so beautiful. And I know what I'm gonna do with it, because I have been wanting to knit the Birkin from Caitlin Hunter. I don't even need to post a picture because everybody knows the Birkin, but there you go. So I'm gonna take, this is some of my own hand-dyed yarn, some misfits, mishaps from the dye pot. I'm gonna use that as the main color. And then I think that I can get away with having all the flowers in this Boromir colorway, so that I don't have to have 3 colors in one row, because I hate knitting with 3 colors. 2 colors, fine. It goes by like nobody's business, but 3, And for the leaves, I'm going to put in some of this Malabrigo Rio. It's the yarn that I bought when I was in Siena. Isn't that going to make a glorious birkin? I really think it is. I also went to see another Danish hand dyer, Henriette. Her company is called By Kilag. Here you can see her tag. Such a lovely person, and actually 3-4 days, something like that, less than a week before the festival, I ordered some yarn from her shop. I don't know if you remember that I said I was gonna knit the chicken knit with these and then a light gray color, and the light gray just wasn't working for me. I wanted something with less of a contrast. So I went on the internet, as you do, and I ordered, I couldn't choose between these 3 colors here. And since I couldn't decide, I bought them all and then a little more. Because I have a plan for all these pastel-y minis and scraps. I have a plan. It's going to be my Christmas cast on. More about that later. But when the yarn arrived, I could see that this one was going to be perfect. Just look. I need to show it together so you can really appreciate how well that is going to work with the other colors of the chicken knit. Yeah. So, that's that. That's 2 sweaters I need to knit. 2 fingering weight sweaters. But so of course I went to meet Henriette at the festival, and in her booth I found this. This is undyed, which, I mean, why go to a hand dyer and buy her undyed yarn? But I couldn't help it. This is my color, and this is her alpaca silk cashmere base. It is so soft. It is so unbelievably soft. I just want to touch it all the time because it is so soft and squishy, and it needs to be something that is really close to me. It needs to be a scarf. It told me that it wants to be a scarf, and I have a very specific plan for it, which also includes this dark gray alpaca. Yeah, gray on gray. My colors, definitely. And I am so excited for the idea that I have with this yarn. It's gonna be impossible to explain what I'm talking about, but I am gonna cast it on real soon. I mean, I can do that. I'm running an accessory along. Of course I can cast on a new scarf. It would be madness not to do it, because when you are running a knit along, you should participate, right? I guess that was it for this week. It was quite a lot, wasn't it? It feels like I've been talking forever. I hope I haven't been going on for too long. I'm gonna find out when I start editing this. But anyway, if you're still with me, thank you so much. I really enjoy our knitting community here, and I hope that you want to take part in the ACAL 2021, the accessory along, where we together make all these wonderful accessories that makes either winter or summer, depending on wherever you are in the world, so much nicer. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that I will see you again next time.